Okay, what is up, guys? It is Charles with How About the Hustle. And, our goal here on the channel is to grow you guys and grow me, really, as a person and in my investments, in my choices, in my skill sets. And I'm going to start interviewing more and more people, okay? So the sectors I'm really looking at right now and will probably grow are DeFi, NFTs, arbitrage, and like eBay buying and selling, flipping, that kind of thing. But I'm not the best at this in all sectors, and so I'm going to have to reach out to people to grow me and us as a community. So we're blessed that our first interview is with Bears Deluxe, which was a low floor in the beginning as far as their mint price, and they really, really grew from there and got up to a 4 ETH floor. I don't think money is everything, but I think it tells you a lot about the success of a project because people are willing to pay for what they think there is value in. So, I really think you guys are going to get a lot out of this. This is with the co-creator of Bears Deluxe. His name is PixelKnight, and he was willing to take an hour of his time to invest into me and to invest into you guys as far as content and what is going to bless you guys as NFT creators, NFT communities, and just people looking to invest in maybe Bears Deluxe or another NFT like it. So let's get started. It's about 45 to 50 minutes. In the beginning, I go over questions that are specific to Bears Deluxe, and then at the end, I go over questions that are specific to growing your NFTs and growing NFT communities. So if you're interested in NFT community advice and stuff like that, I'd skip towards the end. If you're really interested in Bears Deluxe, which I advise you to, it's a great project with a great community. They're one of the first people to answer me and give time to us, and that tells you about their community in general and maybe why their alpha chat is always full and why there's always people talking. I'll give you a short snippet. Pixel talked about how his community seemed so loving and it just happened naturally, and even more than the community, it was creating a culture and it was surprising him. And so, Bears Deluxe might not be a bad place to invest. Just saying, they're awesome. So let's get into it, guys. I hope you have a couple minutes to listen, and I hope you're blessed. I'll see you guys later.
So I am one of two developers of Bears Deluxe. PixelKnight is the founder. And when the project took off, I joined in quite quickly as his right hand and have been ever since. And so basically he is a very, very seasoned developer, full stack web developer with game experience too. He's a pretty good pixel artist, and he is a pretty kick-ass game developer as well. He's made some cool pixel games. We've worked on some games together. One that comes to mind is like a platform 2D RPG, and so we've been friends for a long time, and so we kind of clicked once the project took off as a team. He handles a lot of the Solidity code and writing the contracts and sort of is the main vision, creative tech lead, just sort of jack of all trades as the founder. And I do a lot of the web development. I do a lot of the website building and interacting with the smart contracts, which allows me to present the data in the way that I want to for people to interact with our website. So when you buy bears, when you buy bees and you earn honey, the way to claim that and manage all that is through our website. And so it's important to have a really fun, sort of easy to use interface for people to interact with. And so that's something that I'm constantly working on. And I'm using the smart contracts that PixelKnight and the other Solidity developer we work with. I'm sort of interacting with those from a high level. So we all sort of have our part to play. And so far it's been really great. We got a lot of cool plans in the pipeline. We got things like VX collection coming, and we got things like Metaverse. So yeah, we're kind of all over the place. So if you got any specific questions or you want to start anywhere in particular, just let me know, man.
Okay. So, I guess I kind of what I was thinking, is taking it two different places. One from a Bears Deluxe route, and then from a personal route. As far as one of the questions is what are you excited for in the NFT sphere? What, I guess you're probably I would consider you seasoned. Do you feel seasoned at this point?
It's funny you say that because we came on the scene in September, and it's felt like a flash. And if you look out, if you zoom out, it's literally like no time at all.
Yeah, that is
but
crazy.
Like in NFT time, it's like, yeah, we're veterans at this point. It's crazy. But no, I mean, it's funny, as you know, when we were talking earlier, you had mentioned, like, you know, it's important to gauge projects. Are they in it for the mint? Are they in it for the long haul? Do they want to create something big with utility, with purpose? Do they want to expand and give their holders something cool and contribute, you know, to Web3? So it's really interesting. You know, we have long-term plans, but you know, resources are limited, and there's no expectation of long-term goal, I would say, because the whole space is so new. Especially when you start considering utility projects like ours. So,
yeah, because you said, you know, it was a passion project at first. What did you say the mint was? 0.01?
Yes, the mint was 0.01.
Wow, yeah. So you guys have kind of just been
great.
Just like along for the ride almost. Like it just kept building and building and building.
Yeah, I mean, like the royalties are 2.5%. You know what I mean? Like we're humble. Like we make our money off of our success, and we pay our troop. The people who we work with and who we hire out and who we work with in Discord. But yeah, no, I mean, like we're humble, hard workers, and we're not trying to like make a few $1 million and then just peace out and like retire early. Yeah. Like that does sound appealing, but
yeah, well, you know, for sure.
The dream to me, I mean, I got to tell you, like, so within like 2 or 3, maybe 4 weeks, it all happened so fast. Of PixelKnight releasing the bears, and meanwhile we're already working on dApps together and different kinds of cool things on the Ethereum blockchain, not NFTs, but you know, once that happened, I mean, like I was working at a corporate job, and you know, within that small period of time, I quit. I tried to tell my job what I was doing. They were like, "What the fuck?" yeah. And, excuse me. And rightfully so, honestly. Like trying to explain it to them, and then you know, I signed on full time, and I haven't looked back since. So I'm living the dream. You know, I'm working on the forefront of this cutting edge technology. Wow. And so that's everything to me. And so if I can continue to do that, and we can continue to like trailblaze and innovate and make cool stuff, like that's what we're in it for. But ultimately, for the games, and I can tell you more about that later, but gaming is really the sort of the overlying intention here of our team.
Yeah, you said that PixelKnight has a background in gaming?
He does, yeah, and I have a little bit myself too. So we actually have built Pixel games together in this engine called Pico 8, and it's like a retro game engine with its own scripting language called Lua, which is pretty easy to pick up if you have some programming experience. But being a retro game engine, it's very limiting. So you got to like program and make the art and music within the constraints of, you know, basically what you would expect in like a Super Nintendo game.
Wow,
so it's really cool. So like the nostalgia feature is there. And so if you go on our website and dig in a little bit, you can actually play a few beta levels of the first game in what we're calling our retro arcade called Hungry Bear. And basically the way we're going to release these games are in the form of like NFT collections. Okay. So, you know, Hungry Bear is going to be a collection of 50 different levels, and they're all ownable NFTs. And everyone can play. No way.
Wow. That'll be dope.
And we've already proven this is possible. We deployed the level on IPFS. And so like when you own the level, you get a playable HTML file with it. So like if it ever some reason were to go offline, you'd still have the file and own it and be able to play it. That question comes up a lot because, like it's hosted online. So like people can play it, you know what I'm saying? As long as it's hosted, there's no reason why it wouldn't be. But for the sake of ownership, you actually get a file of the game too. And you can own files of the other levels too. It's pretty cool. And so we've kind of already put out some beta levels to prove to our community, like, hey, this is possible and we're going to do this. And we're going to take it a step further by adding P2E mechanics to a lot of these titles. So we're going to make... you know, all sorts of classic nostalgia type of side scroller games. And, you know, you'll be able to put our honey token into it and hopefully take a lot more out if you win.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the benefit of owning a level?
It's just like the benefit of owning any other NFT, really. You know, it could appreciate in value if people want it. And you can actually play it. Anyone else can play it. Like you can enjoy my Bears Deluxe, you know, NFT profile picture here with me. I still own it. The same way you can, you know, play my level of Hungry Bear. And we can both talk about it. Okay. And so, we're just trying to like eventually have this whole immersive arcade of different titles where some are free, some are exclusive, you know, all sort of different layers to it. But That's a long-term goal of ours.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably by the end of the year to have like 2 or 3 titles.
Wow, dang, good job. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And so like up until this point, it's been a lot of like getting established, building community, figuring out the direction. And so, I'm most excited to finally venture into like what we set out for. And that was to make like really cool Web3 games.
Okay, got it. What do you think? So I know that you guys said it was a .01 mint, and somewhere along the lines, you guys went to a 2 ETH floor. Do you think it was?
Yeah, we hit 4.
You hit a 4 floor. Wow, nice.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. It was crazy.
Now, what do you honestly do? You feel like it's a discernible, like the change or the shift, or like what brought that 4 ETH floor was discernible, or was it just like a bunch of?
I'm not trying to toot our own horn. Like I don't.
No, please.
I wouldn't be surprised if the project goes to 10. And the reason why is because we are a very unique and innovative project. If you dive into our ecosystem, you'll see that we have 7 smart contracts that are all interoperable and working together to provide this gamified experience of you earning honey, minting other NFTs, bees with it, using that honey eventually to mint our VX collection. That's going to happen probably next month. We're working hard on that right now. And then use it in our arcade and so on. So we're very into, like I said, I'll keep saying it, like we're very innovative, and we're always like thinking of new ideas. We're always 5 steps ahead of ourselves. And by doing that, we can come out with some really cool stuff. And so, I invite you to like look a little deeper at our ecosystem. It's really cool. Basically, what happened is we wanted to like build all these cool features. So in order to do so, we had to write a ERC 721 smart contract. And the original smart contract that the Bears were deployed on was an ERC 1155. And that's the OpenSea. It's like a template, basically.
Yeah.
That I don't know what kind of contract you did for your project, but basically we did the 1155, so it was super easy. However, it's very limiting, and there's a lot of restrictions. Like you can't have a utility token. You can't do a bunch of things we wanted to do. So we had to basically create a bridge contract, and then we had to create a new 721 contract that allows you to migrate your bears essentially. And so since that went live in like the end of November, we've migrated a little under 6,000 out of the 6,900 bears. Wow. So that's a really big milestone we're trying to hit. And once we do, like we're thinking like we'll really see the price go up. A lot of people have been confused that there's 2 collections on OpenSea, and so it took OpenSea a long time to like verify the name change for the collections, and there's just a lot of stuff that was out of our hands, and it made things seem a little like wonky from outside perspective. Yeah. But the reason I think it's so successful and it did so well is because when you just sort of compare what you get out of ownership of our NFTs versus others, not only is it a good investment according to just what it's been so far, not my personal opinion, just the pure data. It's also fun. It's really cool and fun. We built a cool system. The website's fun to interact with. It's fun to decide how to maintain your bees. You can feed them so they don't die. If they die, they stop producing honey. Turn them into worker bees so you don't have to worry about feeding them, but they accrue less honey. So there's all these cool little strategies like people are always talking about in the Discord. And then off of that, like the community just kind of like formed itself. And so it has its own sort of like life force in addition to like the cool tech that we've built. There's 2 really cool things going for our project. And so, I think it's worth noting like how awesome our community is. We have a really notable alpha channel. And
I noticed that people were always in the voice chat and alpha talking, which, I'm in like every big Discord, and you don't see that often, especially, like Hate Beast, has like 400,000 people. Well, it's easy to get 20 people, right. But you guys have 50,000 Discord, members, and only 6,000 active people that can be actually in your alpha chat, and you're rocking 35, 40 people.
Yeah. And that's like all the time too. I mean, I'm on pretty much all the time. And so that thing pumps 24 hours a day, and people filter in and out. And like you said, 20, 30, sometimes 50, 60 people hanging out. And so, they've created their own culture within like the culture that my partner and I have tried to create based off of our vision and sort of our, I guess, like egoless approach. I'm not trying to sound like a douche.
No, you're good. You're good.
We've interacted with a lot of people, and you're right, because like, I feel like you ask the questions to get the intentions from certain people, and there really is a lot of malicious intent out there, a lot of cut corners, a lot of bad, poorly written smart contracts, copy and pasted smart contracts, people getting scammed and losing money. So, I mean, we're trying to set a precedence of what, a team should look like. Like, we have support tickets. We answer them every day. We've dealt with over 1,000, in the past month and a half, and we'll continue to keep doing so. When people need refunds, we refund them. It's just the type of backgrounds that my partner and I come from. And we believe that if you're going to invest in something and in like as crazy as this, where you can be involved with the creators of the project, we're going to put in our effort to give you the resources as a holder to be sure in your investment. So, I mean, that's what I'll say about that, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's sort of like the core value of Bears Deluxe, and I think why people have attached to it and why they stay.
No, I could see that because, I've messaged a lot of people about doing interviews and talking to people. And as far as owners go, most people do not respond at all. And it's not a big deal, but it at least says, you guys are, I didn't look all the way at the OpenSea scale on, between 1 and 100, but you're up there. There are a lot of projects that are, 0.1, 0.0 something. And you took time as an owner, to do an interview, and to be honest, not on the biggest YouTube ever. So, it says something to character and to the project alone. So,
yeah, man. I mean, it's, we're just trying to keep it real and build really cool tech and try to bring really cool people together. And so, like, you reaching out is all it takes. And I appreciate your tenacity, and for every, however many rejections somebody will do it. So that's the way it works, right? It's kind of crazy, but all these people, I know. I mean, I know it too. I get people who ignore me and don't answer, and you think they don't have time and this and that, but a lot of it's sort of, it just shows a lot about people's character and what their intentions are and what their ambitions are. Yeah. So no, I appreciate you arranging this.
Yeah. Okay, so let me think. Okay, so this is a question I had. What do you think the difference between somebody doing okay in NFTs and somebody doing great in NFTs is?
I guess that really is depending on what their goals are. I mean, if you're exceeding your goals, I think you're doing great in NFTs. A lot of people are coming out for a cash grab, and I think to an extent that's okay because a lot of the people buying them know that. However, I think we're getting to a period where people are demanding more, as consumers do, and we're requiring more. And as the technology grows, expectations get higher, and for projects to produce more. But I don't know, it's kind of like depend. I guess that's sort of something you have to sort of assess in yourself as a creator. Are you talking specifically about NFT creators?
Yeah, definitely, geared towards.
I mean, if there's an active presence, if you're, every time you hop on like a Twitter space, everyone's, you hear the word community just regurgitated like a million.
Yeah.
Like all these people, community. But it's true. You know what I'm saying? And so the proof is in the pudding. Like, if you go into a Discord server and there is a community, it will show itself. And I think that's one of the cool things that our project has going for itself is that we're not like trying extra hard to bring people in to talk to each other. We're not paying influencers. We're not paying people to spam Discords and things like that. Like I said, we're just trying to keep it real. And so I think that's what, to me, makes us great, is that we actually do have that sense of community without even having to talk about it a whole lot, and just telling someone to show up and you see it's there. So that's a big goal of ours. And so I would say that, I would consider someone meeting their expectations, exceeding them is a great spot to be, because it's not always going to be like that. This is a very fast space. And so if you can take the time to smell the flowers when you're in a good spot, that's great. So.
Yeah. What do you think, like, was it something discernible for you guys, the difference between like starting your community and it becoming active, or was this just really organic?
It was really organic. I mean, yeah, it was discernible as it started unfolding, but I don't know. At first, when Bears Deluxe went on the map, and we had never been, my partner and I, we'd never been on Twitter, we'd never been in Discord. It was just like, whoa, like we met the right people, and the right things were happening with the project. And then it just kept going up and up and up to that 48th floor we were talking about. And as a creator, so new to the space, you gotta step back and say like, okay, like what's gonna happen here? Like at some point, the tower might fall. And so for the longest time, it just kept going up, and we just kept, obviously when that's happening, like Discord's pumping. And so it really wasn't until it cooled down and chilled out and we engaged more with our community and we started getting to know the people who were showing up that like I really noticed like, wow, we are actually building not community, we're building a culture. Like this is actually some real shit here. Wow. And these people are becoming friends and they're helping each other. People are getting scammed and people are giving each other bears. I mean, like there's literally this atmosphere that it's like infectious. And I've felt that in real life before, whether it's been for me, like at a concert or a festival or just a positivity, somewhere that, just reeks of positivity. I've experienced that before, but never like online. And so that's sort of when I realized like this is bigger than ourselves and we have an obligation to, really make this as best as we can. And that's sort of when, Mage brought me on and we went sort of full force at it.
Wow. Dang. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really grateful to everyone and everyone that holds a bear, everyone that talks about bears. We welcome every single person in our Discord and we try to keep, just a positive attitude. And I think there's a lot of people moving really quickly, trying to make a lot of plays. And, we just kind of encourage people to slow down and talk to each other and enjoy each other's company. So, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Really cool. I think I saw a while back, I was on the Discord and somebody had gotten scammed out of their bears. Can't remember. It was some OpenSea private deal or something. And it looked like, and I'm not sure if I don't remember if I remember it correctly, but you guys replaced those bears or whoever accidentally got them for a lower price returned them to the person. It was like a group deal. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Was facilitated. Yeah, of course. And like, I have to give so much kudos and props to Mage again, as the true creator and founder, because he controls stuff. He's the controller of stuff as the creator. So he's the one who determines, what happens with the bears that we have. And so he's used them for good, really. And in that situation, he's just it just speaks to his character. He reached out to the person and he convinced them to return the bears. And in doing so, he gave that person a bear out of solidarity. And then that person was welcomed into the Discord like a legend.
Dude,
so the person who got scammed learned his lesson, I hope, got all his bears back just by good faith. And, then he got awarded with a bear and now he's still part of the community, I think. So, I mean, it just goes a long way. It's a ripple effect. It's real.
Wow. Dang. Yeah. That is beast mode, dude, to return all those bears and then give them one. It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just a lot of things have worked out that way. And, like I said, it just speaks a lot about my partner Pixel Mage's character. He's a crazy, awesome leader.
Yeah.
He's a crazy, awesome leader, dev, artist, visionary. I mean, like, we do everything, the two of us. Obviously, we contract and hire out when we can't, but you see people with 6, 8, 10-person teams. But we are, we're in sync and we're able to cover a lot of ground together. So, yeah, I love his leadership, working as his number 2 right next to him. And we got a lot of big plans in the future.
Wow. Honestly, you don't hear people say a lot of times, I love being somebody's number 2, but honestly, like,
dude, I'm spoiled.
Yeah, no, I'm number 2 to another guy at Foreign, and he's awesome, dude. He there's a lot of attributes in me that I realized I needed when I was under a good leader. One was like heavy patience. I have a tendency to like over plan and try to like overdo a project and make it to the point to where you like everything's planned and processed and like very specific. I'm like very organized, and he's much more go with the flow. And like when somebody, so say there's like a team member or something that doesn't do what they're supposed to do, I'm like, hey, why didn't that happen? And he's like, hey, it's no big deal, man. We'll just do it next time.
Yeah.
And
it's funny you say that, dude.
Why?
Well, I'm just thinking like, okay, because my partner, like at the beginning and throughout, like we'll throw on a Twitter space and like it gets up to 300, 400, 500 people, and like we're pretty extrovert. We're pretty social people. We like to talk. We're not intimidated with public speaking and things like that. But I'm preparing notes and he's just like going with it.
Yeah. And
so it's funny that you guys have that dynamic too.
Yeah. No, exactly. Okay. Another question. What advice would you give to somebody trying to get into like the NFT creation space or starting a project or working with a project? Like, what would you, first things first, if you had like one paragraph or something, what would you tell somebody?
Yeah, I think the first thing you want to do is like figure out exactly what you need, whether that be the skill set or the tools. If you're already an artist, how are you going to, digitize your collection, or is it going to be made digitally, right? If you're a programmer, how are you going to write your smart contract, and how are you going to write your, random algo to generate your images, and how are you going to deploy the collection as a programmer? So like there are things there are questions needed to be answered. And so the advice that I would give to anyone starting out is do your diligent research to find those answers. And the thing is, it is Web3 and it is tough to find those resources. So right now, what you need to do is go into Discords and talk to people who are already doing it. Sort of like, Charlie, you reached out to me, like this would be the perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
Reach
absolutely.
out to people. You may not get some replies, but eventually somebody will. There are servers dedicated to writing Solidity. There are Ethereum. Servers, right? There are artist servers who are curious into getting to NFTs. And so people want to help each other and spread information. And in the next few years, I foresee like tons of, public, easy to access resources, guides, which they're starting to be. But you really got to figure out what it is you're trying to do. And whether that be, just a profile picture collection, or is it video? Is it a game? Is it, a big collection, a small collection? Who do you need and what resources do you need? And that's up to you to figure those things out. And so every successful project has gone through those trials and tribulations at the beginning, and persevered. And so like the space in itself is the proof. So I'm a friendly person in the space. If there's something I don't know, I can point you in the right direction. So people can reach out to me. And at the very worst, I'll say, I don't know.
Yeah. That's a big ask. That's awesome. Okay. What was your initial thoughts about NFTs compared to how you feel about them right now?
Completely different. And I got to say,
really?
If I didn't get plunged into the space as a creator, I probably still wouldn't hold NFTs. And I've been trading crypto and been building dApps for a while. So it just goes to show you, like, there really is this outside sort of perspective on what an NFT is. And it's you can't really blame that perspective, because it's like, oh, cool, this is like a piece of art, a digital piece of art with proof of ownership. Like, take it for what it is, whether you like the idea or you don't. That's what people are seeing. What they aren't seeing is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Like when that 40th floor started to go down and this culture started to build, right? Like there's these real communities, these networks of people who are learning and growing together and working together. And I'm seeing like this influx of people from all different industries trying to get involved in the space. People are reaching out to me from the entertainment industry, the fashion industry, people saying like, whoa, your project has got some attention. Can you tell us more about it? So, people are definitely piqued. Their interests are piqued. And it's just really hard to know, without talking to someone deep into it, what the hell is going on. So that to me is the difference,
Yeah.
I think it'll change. it'll change as more as it gets adopted on a larger scale, as all things do.
No, I agree, you know, because any artist, like, so I come from like a music background, you know, doing music and whatnot.
Yeah.
And any person who's thinking about making any type of art, if you even just play with the idea that you will be rewarded royalties for your hard work you put in the beginning in comparison to selling it once, why would every not why would every art piece not at least come with NFTs? You may do canvas art, cool, but do a picture of the canvas art, make it a comparable NFT, and every time the art is traded, trade the NFT with it. It's a guarantee that you actually own it, you know, and then there's a royalty that goes with it for the sale. So no, I wouldn't see why everybody in the space, you know, Jordans, why wouldn't you have an NFT that goes out with each Jordan? Then you guarantee authenticity. You don't have to worry about fakes anymore. Everything, you know, is on the chain.
Yeah, and that's sort of where I really was mind blown, and I'm still baffled, and I'm like wondering what's going to happen in the future, because once you really like look under the hood, it doesn't, like, art is great, but it's so much. It's not limited to art by any means. I mean, you could really do so much with non-fungible tokens. The idea could span to consumer goods on a global scale. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have an NFT that says this is good for like a just throwing it out there, like a supermarket subscription, or like this is good for you know, a watermelon specifically, right? I don't know. Just trying to kind of brainstorm here with some kind of theoretical ideas, and you'd have that NFT, and I could buy that watermelon in Europe or North America, or I could buy it in South America. You know what I'm saying? And so the idea of gaming, right? Like, people buy these skins to own them. Well, my generation, which is not Gen Z, is you know, I'm a millennial, and we're all kind of a lot of us. I bought some skins before, but like a lot of our outlook who grew up playing like Nintendo and like grinding to beat the game, like, why would you buy the skin? But now I'm thinking, like, well, maybe if you not only buy the Spider-Man Fortnite skin, like, you get a pass to the movie when it comes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get something, right? Add real world utility to anything. And it's kind of crazy. So that's where my mind is heading. Mix that with metaverse, you know, whatever. Sky's the limit. So I think we're going to see some crazy adoption of NFTs. Like I said, in e-commerce, in gaming, music. I hope, you know, I think music's gonna take a while. But I think it will, you know, they'll figure out the way to make NFTs and music work really well.
No, for sure. I know growing up, I played a little bit of WoW, and it was like always you know, they were like, don't sell your stuff on eBay. Do not do that. Like, we'll ban you right away. And what's so interesting is people are non-rewarded for hard work in the game, and they don't want it to ever attribute to real life money. And so back in the day, there used to be these bunch of Chinese gold farmers in WoW, and they would sell gold online. And what's so interesting is now we're seeing full circle that people who are good at games can be rewarded with real life money. And honestly, it just makes sense. Like, you know, Altura is really working on making NFTs inside of the gaming space, you know, that'll evolve and move. And so, no, it just seems right. You know, why not be rewarded? You put 100 hours into this thing. You put 400 hours into this game.
That's what we're trying to do. I mean, we love our whales. Like, don't get me wrong. We'll always take care of our whales, but like, we're really trying to reward our gamers. And the way we're going to do that is with these P2E mechanics in our retro arcade. Like, you're going to be able to play, you're going to be able to put in a little honey. And if you win to whatever degree that is, right, you can win more honey. And that's not if you have more bears or less bears. That's if you're good at the game. And so that's the direction, you know, we're trying to take things.
Yeah. So can people buy honey on a DEX or on the market and then use that to compete? Or
we have a liquidity pool on Sushi Swap that you can swap ETH for, or any ERC20 token.
Got it.
For honey.
Okay.
So yeah. So we really like the prospect of like working with other utility projects, you know, integration of like multi-token, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Into like certain apps, like you go into a game, right, as your NFT, and you can use your currency there, but you can also use another project's currency and another project's currency. I'm saying currency, I mean token.
Of course. Yeah.
But you know, this just goes to show you, like, that's sort of the direction I would say that like the utility game is headed, just like cross chain and like multi kind of token utilization. That's what we're thinking long term.
Yeah, I think I saw something slightly like this with Kaiju Kings. I'm not sure. They made like an arcade or something, but somebody
Nice.
else was allowing.
They're a cool project.
Yeah. So
There's this project what we just paired up with that's going to be using their token as well as ours, and the project called Scholars.
Okay, I don't think I've heard of it.
Rams. The project's called Rams, something Rams. I forget it, but we're partnering with them, and they're going to use all of our utility tokens in their first phase. I think either in a game or somehow in their ecosystem. So yeah, PixelMage is the one who has the details on it. But those are the types of like partnerships that we're trying to build right now, is people who want to use our token, right? That's what keeps it deflationary. That's what's going to, sort of help it in the long term. The more adoption, the better for the token. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
more people using.
Okay, so last couple questions.
Man.
What skills did you have that worked well in the NFT space that were obvious, and then what were like the not so obvious ones?
Yeah, sure. So I would say the skills that were obvious that worked well is for not only me but me and my partner is that we're pretty easygoing and we're humble, and we can sort of take things with a grain of salt, and we can sort of take a step back and analyze everything for what it is and take a breather. I think that in a space that moves so fast, project creators are trying to please whales, and they're trying to please, people coming in and asking questions, when this, when that. But, having that patience and knowing, when to execute, that's really important to have. What I didn't know is that I'd be interfacing with so many people on a daily basis. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just getting a call, but I'm letting it roll. So yeah, what I didn't realize is that like I'd be interfacing with thousands of people on a regular basis, and this is something that I've always prided myself on personally as a public speaker. Building relationships and connections, and just being sort of a people person. I didn't like for a minute think that I'd get to utilize my leadership skills and my social skills in this aspect in the way I really do like every day now. So that's been awesome.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, I just got a text from my guy who's got me connected to some big players. He said, Snoop just texted. I think he's ready to talk. So I'll probably have a phone call with him soon.
Snoop
That'd
Dogg?
be cool. Yeah, we've been trying to set that up. I had a really cool conversation with Warren G the other day, and Baron Davis, the NBA superstar. So just some like really cool big names. Not that they like turned around and bought Bears.
Yeah.
But there's big names interested in NFTs, and they're getting pulled in so many different directions. And so, like we sort of talked about at the beginning of this, like people just are looking for resources. And
wow.
so,
that makes sense.
People have approached us looking for info, and especially like interested in Bears. So yeah, Snoop Dogg actually tweeted about Bears a couple weeks ago, which was really cool. And it got our community super stoked. But I think now it sounds like he's ready to talk, and he probably wants to learn a little bit about the honey.
Yeah, the honey. Okay. Okay. So I thought this was an interesting question. So, I don't come this. I'm pretty new to NFTs, really. I guess in a way, kind of everybody is, but the whole anonymous culture is kind of a new thing to me. I grew up gaming. I grew up on computer my whole life, and anonymous really wasn't such an important thing. It kind of happened, because you're not like actively like, here's my first name, here's my last name, but as far as like this being so specifically anonymous, like this culture, it's almost like you have like an online identity in comparison to your real life identity, and they don't really mix and they don't really share. And one thing, the question is how do you build trust with anonymity being so important?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, dude. And that comes up a lot. I think people who are kind of new to our space.
Yeah.
And it really just all, in my opinion, comes back to actions speak louder than words. And, like I keep alluding to, like we have these people who come around all the time and they hang out in our Discord because they like this culture we've built. And we're there. We're talking to them. We're telling them our successes, our mistakes. We're transparent with our community. And like not only, do we know them, but they know us too. You know what I'm saying? And so they don't need to know what I look like or who I am to trust that I'm going to build something awesome for them. Because it's just what it is. It's real. And so I'm not an avid collector in Discords talking to people on that level, but from a creator, like, I can say anonymity is a layer of protection for us. There's a lot of money, especially in our collection. There's a lot of money in NFTs, and there's a lot of money, especially in our collection. And so, we don't know who all these people are and who's got what intentions. So, people make bad plays, they lose money, they blame, who knows? Like, it doesn't necessarily come to that, but there's a layer of security from the creator standpoint that I would say helps. And the other side of it, to me, on the creator side, like, one of the first things that was attractive to Bitcoin was the fact that Satoshi is completely anonymous. And we have no idea who it came from. And people have hunches and theories, some more educated than others. But the whole point is, like, there is a really cool, in my opinion, layer to that. Me and my partner aren't like totally like die hard. We're going to be, completely anonymous forever. Like, we've doxed ourselves. We've come out and told, like, certain people who we are, certain people who we want to build partnerships with, people of certain, I guess, status. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just people who have something to offer us, really, that more than we have to offer them, is when we are, like, totally into, like, kind of coming out of the woodwork and showing who we are. So moving down the road, like, we're happy to probably come out and dox ourselves, but it's pretty cool where it is right now. And I would just, like, sort of reiterate the fact that, the action speaks so much louder than words. People trust us as figures and as people, not as names. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about it, and it's like, it's gonna sound weird, but it's almost better, because at Foreign Fuels, people kept saying, they're not doxed, and so we came out with, like, first, last name, link to my Twitter, link to my, like, actual LinkedIn, all my references. And I don't mind sharing it, but from an anonymity perspective, honestly, what's interesting is that you're saying that I build trust through character. And
so you gave all that out, and that's great. And I think that does have worth, but, like, if I'm going to invest in you, that doesn't really show me
exactly. That's exactly. Yeah.
Like, when we onboard, like, a mod or someone onto our team, like, I don't want to see, like, where you went to college or that you worked at McDonald's for 3 years. I don't need to see your resume. I need, what's the relevant skill? And that's why Web3 in this world is so crazy, because if you have the skills to do something, you can get in. And, it's just important to execute in this space. That's all that matters, is show up and execute. People want to hear from you, and they want to see that you can do stuff. And that's it. They don't need to know your name.
Yeah.
But like, at the same time, like, there's a comfort layer and there's a confidence layer. I would say that goes into it. I've seen a lot of docs projects fail, though. So
yeah. No,
it's no, not knocking you by any means.
No, please. It was my first time out, and really, like, it was a learning curve. But I think you're exactly right, because character speaks louder than, because why would giving someone's identity make you comfortable in the project? What, so they can't run?
Right.
What, so they you see what I'm saying? They can't take off with your money and you not find them on Facebook and hound them or something like that. It's fear-based. It's not even on character. It's not even that you think the project is going to do well. It's that the people can't run. It's not even the right basis for why you would invest in something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Walking without a face,